My ex-wife, egged on by her so-called best friend, decided I wasn't good enough for her. She made my life a living hell until I agreed to a divorce. So, we got divorced. And then I started dating her best friend. Now that she's broke and miserable, she shows up on my doorstep begging me to take her back. I tore her a new one. I've got her best friend in my bed now, too. And what I figured out later is that they were both just after the eminent domain money. I kicked them both to the curb. Even the TV mediator who got involved ended up selling her soul for a piece of the pie. When the truth finally came out, every single one of them had a complete meltdown. You're the one who wanted the divorce. You're the one who didn't want a kid. Anything you pull now is useless. I didn't even bother to look up from the couch at the woman who used to share my bed. Back when she was demanding a divorce, her mouth was full of crap she'd seen online. I just wanted to be one of those girls on Instagram, you know, my best life. I have standards for myself. It all came down to money, didn't it? She wanted to blow my entire $5-6 grand a month paycheck at the salon and Sephora. Did she really think I'd go for that? And when she didn't get her way, she'd throw a fit all gassed up on self-help gurus from TikTok, who had her convinced she was God's gift to man. Then she called some local news mediation show to force my hand. I never seen anything like it. After her endless whining, I finally gave in. I figured, fine. You want it so bad, you got it. That was just a few months ago. Now that she's blown through her half of the settlement, she's full of regret. Showing up here, begging me to take her back for the sake of our son. Yeah, for the sake of my ass. Babe, who is it? My new girlfriend, Chloe, had just woken up and was walking out of the bedroom, stretching lazily in a tank top and shorts. If Jessica had a cute, round face, Chloe's was all sharp, elegant angles, and her body was tanned. How could it be you? Jessica's eyes were wide with disbelief as she looked at my new girlfriend. She stomped forward. Chloe, you're my best friend. How could you be with my husband? This is my bedroom. She shrieked, pointing a trembling finger at the door. Your husband? Chloe scoffed. You're divorced. I'm the woman of the house now. She turned to me. Right, Cole. Yep. I beckoned with my hand. And Chloe patted over to the couch, melting into my arms like a kitten. Jessica, it's time for you to go. I kept my voice flat. You see the situation? I have a new girlfriend. We are not getting back together. The 1-2 punch landed. Jessica's face went pale then blotchy green. You, too, she stammered. Chloe, you were the one who told me to divorce him. Chloe just snuggled deeper into my arms. That was your decision. I just said, if you don't leave him, leave him. Maybe the next guy will be better. You said I'd get hurt if I stayed with him. Well, Chloe paused. I said, you get hurt. Not me. You. Jessica collapsed onto the floor, her composure shattering into loud, ugly sobs. Thank God my mom had taken my son for the week. Otherwise, who knows what kind of scene this would have turned into. If you're going to cry, go back to your shitty little rental and do it there, I said, my voice hard. This is my house. Just looking at you ruins my day. How dare you say that? Cole Turner, you're an idiot then. You're the one who wanted out. Crying a river now won't change a thing. Weren't you jumping for joy and waving that divorce decree around the day we left the courthouse? I sneered. What the hell are you crying for now? Get the hell out of my house before I call the cops. No, better yet, I'll call those TV people the same way you did. Get that mediator back here to watch you get thrown out. You're a piece of work. If my folks hadn't been on my case about settling down, I never would have fallen for that innocent act of yours. I actually thought you were wifey material. My tirade seemed to land. Jessica, realizing she had no ground to stand on, wiped her tears and stood up, launching a new line of attack. You two planned this. You tricked me into a divorce so you could be together. Oh, shut up. Chloe snapped, finally losing her patience. Don't you get tired of the sound of your own voice? You're not his wife anymore. You don't get to come in here and bark orders. She stood up, hands on her hips. Couldn't find a better man, so you came crawling back. Have you no shame? We tricked you. Please. You were the idiot who threw away a great guy like Cole. Who's to blame for that but you? You. Jessica looked like she was about to have a stroke, leaning against the wall to catch her breath. When she recovered, she turned her sights back on me. You think she's actually into you if it wasn't for that rundown property of yours getting bought out? You think she'd be here right now? She used to be the first one to call you a deadbeat loser behind her back. I hadn't actually thought that my family's old place was on the outskirts of town, a big old house on about a half-acre lot. A few years back, my uncle, who's on the town council, mentioned a new highway might be coming through. So, we built up the property, expanding the house, thinking we'd cash in. It turned out to be a false alarm. But 2 months ago, we got the official notice. They were expanding the regional airport. The whole property, including my 10-acre pig farm next to it, was being acquired by the state. The payout was going to be substantial. My cut alone would be, well, a lot. A few million easy. This woman's intel was surprisingly good. Her sudden desire to reconcile probably wasn't just because her new life sucked. She was after the money. No wonder Chloe had been so attentive lately, texting me every day to see how I was. Yesterday, she heard I had a cold and insisted on coming over to take care of me. And one thing led to another. She shed her clothes and the lace lingerie underneath made any protest impossible. After we slept together, she was my girlfriend. Now I see it. They were both after the money. You shut your mouth. Chloe, sensing the shift in my mood, went on the offensive. She grabbed Jessica and tried to drag her toward the door. The two of them started screaming at each other, a torrent of nasty insults. The pulling and shoving quickly devolved into a full-on cat fight. Hair pulling and all. Oh, for crying out loud. I was stunned. They were rolling around on the floor. Shaking my head, I reached for the bowl of sunflower seeds on a coffee table. Honey, help me. Cole, baby, come help your Chloe. They were surprisingly evenly matched and were now calling for backup. But my heart had turned to ice. I didn't want to help either of them. They could beat each other senseless for all I cared. They had no problem calling me a dumb pig farmer behind my back, did they? So what if I raised pigs? They looked down on me then, but now they're begging. Useless. I started cracking seeds, turning up the volume on the TV to drown them out and keep the neighbors from calling the police. I wanted to see how this played out. They fought for a while, tumbling from the living room to the entryway and back again. Damn. Faces were scratched. Clumps of hair were on the floor. When women really fight, they fight dirty. Fight on, I thought, propping my feet up. After a few more minutes, they were both exhausted and out of breath. The fight fizzled out. And then, as if it wasn't her fault, my damn ex-wife tried to pin it on me again. You bastard. You won't even protect your own wife. What kind of a man are you, huh? I laughed coldly. Who's my wife? I don't seem to have one, honey. Chloe knew she couldn't win by force, so she switched to seduction, grabbing my arm and shaking it gently. This horrible woman attacked me. You have to help me. Her body was soft and warm pressed against my arm. It felt damn good. There, I said, patting her head. Then my face went cold as I turned back to Jessica. What are you still looking at? Get out of my house. Cole Turner, I'll freaking kill you. The string of curses she let loose was truly impressive. I tossed a handful of seeds onto the table, stood up, grabbed her by the collar, and shoved her out the front door. Bang. The door shut. Instantly, I felt a whole lot better. Crazy, Chloe said, looking triumphant. She glanced at me and remembering what Jessica had said, her voice turned syrupy sweet. Cole, baby, she's not like me. I'll only ever take care of you. Yeah, take care of my money, I thought with a sneer. These two women, not a single good one in the bunch, knowing they were both after my money. The gratitude I'd felt yesterday was gone. The sex had been incredible, though. The way she moaned, it was enough to make any man feel like a king. I'm tired, I said, a smirk playing on my lips as I raised an eyebrow. Chloe got the message immediately. She came over, helped me out of my clothes, and led me toward the bedroom. Outside the door, my ex-wife was still in a powerless rage, pounding on the door so hard it shook. I couldn't hear a thing. My poor neighbors, though, they had to endure the noise while also probably hearing things that made them blush. The walls in this condo complex were paper thin. I never wanted to buy this place, but Jessica insisted. No condo, no wedding, she'd said. I'd fallen for the sales pitch, too. I should have known then that a woman with no sense and no brain was a woman you absolutely do not marry. And now she's divorced and still coming back to cause trouble. Unbelievable. After another round of love-making, the frantic pounding from outside had stopped. Jessica must have given up and left. I lit a post-coital cigarette. Life was good, Cole. Chloe was curled up against me like a kitten. A far cry from the woman who used to give me dirty looks whenever she and Jessica saw me. A complete 180. Cole, why are you looking at me like that? You're making me blush. Ahem, I took a drag from my cigarette. Chloe, you know what I really like? The way you were when I first met you. That fierce, untamable look. Can you do that again for me? Cole, you're awful. I'll buy you a designer bag when the buyout money comes through. Chloe let out a cold snort. I thought she was angry, but then she said, like this, Cole. Her expression was all ice. Perfect, I said, a thrill of conquest shooting through me. I rolled on top of her, ready for another round. The good times had officially arrived. The next 2 days were pure bliss. My ex-wife didn't show up again. I figured she'd finally gotten the message and given up. But just as Chloe and I were walking home from a day out, talking about some little toys I'd ordered from Amazon and how we were going to use them tonight, I saw them downstairs blocking the entrance to the building. My ex-wife Jessica and with her a TV crew. Son of a bitch. My good mood evaporated. She pulled this crap to get a divorce and now she's pulling it again to get back together. Mr. Turner, a cameraman and a mediator with Jessica in tow rushed toward me. I'm not giving an interview. Get lost. I shoved the camera out of my face and pulled a mortified Chloe along with me. We're journalists from the Community Connection segment. Ms. Miller here claims she was tricked into a divorce. Is that true? The mediator, a woman, asked breathlessly. That's a load of garbage, I yelled, spraying spittle in her face. The first time she pulled this, it was the talk of the neighborhood. Go ask anyone. This woman was desperate to divorce me. Now you bring a different show, a different clueless mediator, and you think you can force me back together with her in your dreams. Now get the hell out of my sight. The mediator was stunned, unsure what was going on. They called a mediator for the divorce, too. But this just made for better TV. She became even more persistent, insisting we all sit down and talk. She followed us from the lobby all the way up to my apartment. As I tried to shut the door, Jessica wedged her body in the way, and the mediator actually helped her pull the door open. What was the difference between them and a gang of thugs? I let loose a string of curses for several minutes before Chloe managed to pull me back inside. They had gotten what they wanted and were now in my apartment. Chloe handed me a bottle. Oh, sorry, Cole. Wrong one, she said, quickly swapping the bottle of lubricant for a bottle of water. Seeing this, my ex-wife Jessica went nuclear. Roaring like a bull, she lunged at Chloe, scratching and clawing. I jumped in to help, and with the mediator's assistance, we finally pulled them apart. Jessica, what the hell is wrong with you? You want me to call the cops? Forcible entry, assaulting my girlfriend. You know that's illegal, right? I bellowed. My righteous, anxious anger didn't faze my ex-wife. But it did seem to remind the media why she was there. She started trying to calm everyone down. Everyone, let's all just talk this out calmly. After a few minutes of her placating, the two women finally settled down. Chloe immediately buried her face in my chest and started crying. You little drama queen. Jessica instantly lost it again. Luckily, the mediator was quick on her feet and pulled her back. We're here to mediate, not to start a brawl. If you want your husband to take you back, violence is not the answer. I snorted. Watch your wording. I'm not her husband. I'm her ex-husband. Ex-husband. I repeated the word, emphasizing it. We would have never divorced if you hadn't tricked me. Ex-husband. I bet you're happy now, aren't you, Ms. Miller? The mediator turned to me. You and her best friend conspired to trick her into a divorce. Is there any truth to this? Truth my ass. The divorce was her idea. There are clips of the last time she did this online. You can go look it up. As for tricking her, that's just something she cooked up in her head. We split the assets. She had no objections. She didn't even want custody of our son. What's she complaining about now? But she says she was deceived into doing all that. We're just trying to get you two to sit down and talk. After all, you shared a life together. There's history there. Chloe and I have slept together plenty of times, too. That's a history that's a hell of a lot more recent. Well, I got into bed with her. I said, pointing at Jessica, she demanded money first. Whoa, Mr. Turner. There are cameras here. Let's not use such colorful language. But after hearing what I said, the mediator looked confused. The cameraman immediately swung the lens toward Jessica. Ms. Miller, is what your ex-husband said about you charging him for intimacy true? He wouldn't give me access to his bank account, so I cut him off. What's wrong with that? The female mediator was speechless. Well, I suppose you could see that as a sort of playful understanding between a couple. Playful my ass. I unloaded another mouthful of curses at her. Only when I was out of breath did the mediator dare to raise a hand and wipe the spit from her face. You have to have the patience of a saint to do this job. It felt like punching a pillow. What do you people want? I sat back down on the sofa and Chloe automatically started massaging my shoulders. Let me tell you straight up. There's zero chance of me getting back together with this woman. Look at her. She looks like she wants to murder someone. Now look at my current girlfriend. Sweet as a kitten. You think I'm a masochist? Why on earth would I get back with her? But you two were married. I was young and stupid. My parents set us up and we got married. That's my line. It was the exact line Jessica had used on camera during the first mediation for our divorce. I was just throwing it back in her face. See, she said it herself, right? She admits it. So, we have no real emotional foundation. The mediator looked like she was about to pass out from the sheer stupidity of her client. But after composing herself, she launched her second wave of attack. The point is, she realizes her mistake now. Can you really be so cruel to the woman who bore your child? No, I can't. So I can't even stand to look at her. I cut the mediator off mid-sentence. Mr. Turner, you can't be like this. You were husband and wife. And there's a strong suspicion that you and this woman, she gestured to Chloe, deceived her. You got proof. I shot back. Well, if you have proof, sue me. If you don't, then all you're doing is showing up here to harass me. It's not about that. Even if it wasn't a conspiracy, the fact remains that you are now with her best friend, the mediator said, trying to muddy the waters. Exactly. If she hadn't tricked me, how could I have possibly divorced my husband? Jessica jumped on the new narrative, shifting the blame entirely onto Chloe. Is this a joke? Chloe laughed. You complain to me about your husband every single day. And now you're saying I tricked you into leaving him. Your own family couldn't talk you out of it. Who the hell could persuade you to do anything, and now it's my fault? You were the one encouraging me. Is that illegal? Chloe threw the 3 words back at her. A perfect imitation of a certain legal argument style, and Jessica fell into stunned silence. She looked blankly at the mediator. The mediator shook her head. It's unethical, but not illegal. Huh? That made Chloe even bolder. Just because you don't love your own husband, you think no one else can. You're a grown woman. You have to take responsibility for your own actions. You believe everything people tell you, she taunted. Besides, if you weren't already thinking it, no one could have convinced a mule as stubborn as you. How dare you call me a mule? The two looked ready to throw down again. Stop. Stop. The mediator rushed to separate them, sweating profusely. She was less of a mediator and more of a referee at a boxing match. Talking won't solve anything. Neither will fighting, Chloe snorted. The fact is, I like your ex-husband, and I'm going to be the new mistress of this house very soon. Now, you should probably take her and get the hell out of my sight. You're getting cocky, aren't you? Don't fight. Don't fight. After separating them again, the mediator knew that to have any hope of success, she had to work on me. She turned. Mr. Turner, can you really bear to watch 2 women fight over you? I paused. The cameraman next to me almost burst out laughing. What was not to like? I was ecstatic. Seeing my silence, she pressed on. And just now, Ms. Vance said, you 2 are getting married. That's what she said. I denied it flatly. We'd slept together plenty of times, but I'd never once said anything about marriage. Cole. Chloe looked a little panicked. Our relationship is still new. These things take time, I said quickly, switching to a more palatable excuse. Terrified of all 3 women ganging up on me. In any case, you're not planning to marry her yet. So let's just talk calmly. Between these 2 women, who would you choose? I choose you. What? The mediator's jaw dropped. How did you get dragged into this? Sorry, I don't have such low standards, she snapped back. The other 2 women immediately shot her a death glare. Wasn't she basically saying they had low standards? I wasn't offended. I calmly continued. My ex-wife is only back here begging because she's after my money. Money? The mediator chuckled. This neighborhood, this apartment decor, he was after your money. Talk about being full of yourself. My next sentence made her jaw drop again. Yeah, money. Eminent domain money. My family's old property is about to be acquired. I stand to get a few $1,000,000. What? A few $1,000,000? What else? It's a half-acre lot. Plus, I have a pig farm in the land for that was handed down from my dad. Gasps echoed. The mediator almost fainted. This was like a reality TV show about some guy who won the lottery. An overnight millionaire. No wonder these 2 women were tearing each other apart for him. If she were in their shoes, she wouldn't let go either. Is this information credible? I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask them, I said, gesturing to Jessica and Chloe. They seem to know more about it than I do. Otherwise, I'll leave the sentence hanging. The two women had the decency to look ashamed, staying silent, afraid of being labeled gold diggers. All right, the divorce is final. The mediator switched tactics. Ms. Miller, if you want forgiveness, you need to sincerely apologize. You were the one in the wrong first, then listen to what your ex-husband thinks. Jessica dropped to her knees without hesitation. Honey, I was wrong. Ha ha. I felt a surge of satisfaction. Where's all that arrogance now? The woman who used to give me nothing but grief. Kneeling was useless. I turned my head away, ignoring her completely. Mr. Turner, look at her. She's so pitiful. A person's pride is worth its weight in gold, and she's kneeling. Can't you forgive her? Fine, I forgive you. My words sent Chloe into a panic. If we got back together, where did that leave her? No money and branded a home wrecker. She immediately started grabbing my arm, trying to sway me with her feminine charms. But I was getting tired of her act too. It only turns bitter in the end. You get over there, I said to Chloe. And you, I said to Jessica, I forgive you. That doesn't mean I'm taking you back. As for our son, my parents are taking care of him now. Don't even think about fighting for custody just to get child support out of me. The state standard is $500 a month. Those were your words during the divorce proceedings. You haven't paid a single dime yet, by the way. But I'm not asking you for it. If you want custody, that's all you'll get from me. Not a penny more. Weren't you the one who laughed at me for not knowing the law? Well, I know it now. I threw her own words right back at her. She was so smug when she slammed the papers down on the table back then, and now so pathetic. All right, show's over. I've said what I needed to say. You and your crew can get the hell out. I waved my hand, shooing them away. Mr. Turner, we're not finished yet. It's finished. If you don't leave now, I'm going to get violent. My temper was flaring. Chloe, who had been quiet, knew it was her time to shine and defend her position as the woman of the house. She started pushing and shoving, forcing the three of them toward the door. My ex-wife resisted. You tricked me into this divorce. I have a right to the buyout money. If you don't give it to me, I'll sue you. Yes, that's right. You knew about the buyout, so you conspired with my best friend to trick me into leaving you. I muttered from behind them. I was sick of her and her so-called best friend, too. I reached over, pulled the door shut, and locked them all out. The world was finally quiet. Wait, Cole, what about me? I'm still out here. Chloe shrieked from the hallway. Weren't they just accusing you of plotting with me? Well, now I don't want either of you. You think I'm going to have trouble finding a woman with millions in the bank? It's laughable. Who will I choose? What a joke. I deadbolted the door and walked back into the living room, feeling a profound sense of relief. Outside, there was silence. The three women stared at each other, completely blindsided by this outcome. Ma'am, can you help me? Chloe burst into tears, turning to the mediator. That bastard used me, and now he's just throwing me away. What? Jessica, her former rival, actually put a comforting arm around her. The mediator was dumbfounded. The cameraman silently gave a thumbs up. This was incredible television. Who said Cole Turner had no charisma? The man had charisma and guts to spare. All right, let's go. We have more than enough footage, the mediator said, officially calling it a day. The two women stood outside my door, hurling insults for a while before, united in their shared hatred of me. They left together as best friends once more. I meanwhile sat in my living room, calmly sipping a cup of tea. Such a shame about all those toys I ordered from Amazon. I sighed. What a waste. I picked up my phone and started browsing, looking for a new car to buy. I wasn't a huge fan of Ferraris. That new electric sports car was supposed to be good and the price was right, but I've never been an electric car guy. It was a tough decision. I was still debating it that evening when my phone rang. I answered, "Hello. Mr. Turner. We met this morning. What do you want now?" I've said everything I'm going to say. I'm not getting back with my ex-wife or my ex-girlfriend. No, you misunderstood. I was hoping we could meet up and talk. Talk about what? You mediators don't give up, do you? Still harassing me after work hours. You got it all wrong, she coughed. I'm off the clock now. I was hoping to talk to you as a mature, attractive woman. I understand. She gave me an address. I went into my room, changed my clothes, and headed out the door. My interest peaked. The mediator, Maya, was actually quite stunning. I hadn't laid a hand on her earlier despite my anger because she was too pretty to harm. If it had been that old guy from the first mediation, I would have sent him flying out the door with a flurry of punches. We had dinner, saw a movie, and went back to her place to watch her cat do backflips. Things progressed naturally. But thinking about all those brand new toys I bought, I brought her back to my place the next day. She knew my buyout money hadn't come through yet, so she didn't let me spend a dime on her. She was a great girl, college educated, classy, even bought me a whole new wardrobe with a new haircut. I had to admit, I looked a lot better. But the peace didn't last. A couple of days later, there was a knock on the door. I glanced at my new love, who was in the kitchen making me a special breakfast. I put down the book I was reading and went to answer, assuming it was the delivery. I opened the door to a crowd. My ex-wife Jessica, my ex-girlfriend Chloe, and the old mediator from the first divorce case were blocking the entrance. One of them stuck a foot in the door before I could slam it shut. But what do you two want now? We're here to settle the score. In just a few days, they were best friends again, arms linked. You're a liar. You tricked both of us. Me? They forced their way in and sat down. I walked back into the living room exasperated and saw the old mediator, and my blood began to boil. Are you kidding me? She came to you for the divorce. Now she comes to you to get back together. Don't you have any professional shame? They were emotionally manipulated by you. They came to our show for help. I can't just ignore them, can I? You have a nerve to show your face here. Why not? You're the one who scammed them. As we argued, we moved into the living room. Jessica's sharp eyes spotted movement in the kitchen. See, I told you this bastard played us both, got tired of us, and found another woman. Yeah, let's drag her out of there, Chloe yelled, rolling up her sleeves. The two of them, a united force, charged into the kitchen. Don't. I tried to stop them, but the old mediator held me back. They dragged the woman out. Her face was covered by her hands. They pried her hands away, and when they saw who it was, both Jessica and Chloe froze in shock. The mediator's colleague's soul left his body. What was happening? The only one in the room who was completely lost was the old-timer mediator. After getting the whole story from the shell-shocked cameraman, the expression on his face was priceless. 2 women were a drama, but this was 3 women and 1 man. Get away from her. I rushed forward and pulled the small, helpless-looking Maya behind me. This one I actually like. If you lay a hand on her, I swear to God, I'll put you both in your place. The old-timer was speechless. They were colleagues. He didn't even know what to say. It's just a few $1 million. Have some principles. How could you get involved with the subject of your own show? He's getting a few million personally, Maya shot back. But his family is getting way more. After hearing that, the old-timer was at a complete loss. He waved his hand, signaling the cameraman to lower the camera. If this got out, the show would be ruined. So, how are we going to resolve this? The old man asked, looking around at the tangled mess. He was exhausted by it all. It was just a story about a guy who struck it rich getting swarmed by 3 women. Ring, ring. The landline rang. Don't you move, my ex-wife ordered, pressing the speakerphone button. I bet this scumbag has other women on the side. I slumped onto the couch, too tired to argue. Nephew, you there? A familiar voice boomed from the speaker with all eyes on me. I reluctantly answered. Yeah, Uncle Rick. My plan worked like a charm, didn't it? We faked the whole eminent domain story and sent your clueless ex-wife and her snake-in-the-grass best friend spinning in circles. You must have been having the time of your life these last few weeks, kid. When you get tired of her best friend, send her my way. I've got plenty of property and land myself. You know, Uncle. I buried my face in my hands. They're all here. And my new girlfriend is here, too. Ah, the line went dead. I looked up. 3 women were staring at me with murder in their eyes. The cameraman and the old mediator's mouths were hanging open. They couldn't believe it was all a scheme. I scrambled into the bedroom, locked the door, and put on my noise-canceling headphones. The world was quiet again. The 3 women, realizing they'd been played, were furious. It had all been for nothing. But, as Chloe had so helpfully pointed out earlier, unethical, but not illegal. There was nothing they could do. They were afraid to smash things, probably because I threatened to call the cops. After screaming at my door for half an hour, the old mediator finally calmed them down and the 3 of them left, sobbing. Once I was sure they were gone, I came out and locked the front door. I walked over to the landline and hit the redial button. Nephew, are they gone? All gone. Uncle Rick, your acting was brilliant. Haha, what do you expect? I'm your uncle. I've been in more plays than you've had women in your bed. You're a bad influence on me, I said, a smug grin spreading across my face. I had texted my uncle right before I opened the door and we'd planned this for days. He agreed that if the chaos continued, my life would be a mess. So, we cooked up this little piece of theater to get the two women off my back for good. It had unexpectedly taken care of 3 of them, better than I could have hoped. Now that that's handled, sell that condo and get out of there. Your mom and dad have already agreed to move. We're all heading down to Florida, buy a big place on the water, and the whole family can live there. Mom and dad agree. You bet. These last few weeks, every cousin and distant relative you have has been calling them trying to borrow money. They were going crazy. Okay, that makes sense. I was finally putting it all together. The land being acquired wasn't that large an area, but my family's property, including the house and the pig farm, happened to be right in the middle of the new airport's footprint. That's why the payout was so huge. And the big greenhouse complex next to the farm, that was my uncle's land. He helped orchestrate the whole thing. Our two families had hit the jackpot. But uncle, am I really getting a few million? That's right, but your parents are getting tens of millions. They own that whole hill behind the property. Wait a minute. Mom and dad only have one son, right? Me. There was a pause on the other end of the line. For now, my uncle said slowly. For now, that's true. But in the future, you never know.